Behind the razor-sharp suits and brutal gang wars lies a world of secrets they hoped you'd never find out. These are the true dark truths that made Peaky Blinders more dangerous off-screen than on. Fact 1.
He looked at me the wrong way. It's not a good idea to look at Tommy Shelby the wrong way.
While the series made the Peaky Blinders look like stylish masterminds, the real gang was far more brutal and unpredictable. The actual Peaky Blinders operated in Birmingham from the 1890s into the early 1900s. They were mostly young street thugs, not organised criminal masterminds like Tommy Shelby. Their name came from sewing razor blades into their caps, though some historians argue this was likely exaggerated. Street fights were so common that local police refused to patrol certain neighbourhoods after dark. The real gang's crimes included robbery, assault, illegal betting, and extortion. They'd mug people in broad daylight and slash anyone who resisted. Children as young as 12 were recruited as lookouts or runners. Unlike the Shelby family empire, the real Peaky Blinders rarely rose above petty crime. They were eventually overtaken by more organised gangs like the Birmingham Boys and Sabini's crew. Historians say the Peaky legend grew because reporters loved the name.
And that are the Peaky Blinders. This is Spark Elwyn and Smallheath.
Stephen Knight, the show's creator, based the Shelbys on family stories but added the big boss twist. His uncles told tales of men in flat caps terrorising the streets and bribing cops. The razorblade myth stuck because it was so shocking. The real Blinders didn't rule all of Birmingham but caused enough chaos to be feared. While the show romanticises them as anti-heroes, their reality was grim. Many ended up in prison or dead before turning 30. No elegant whiskey deals, just brutal brawls and turf wars. It proves that sometimes the truth is even darker than TV dares to show. Next time you watch Tommy Shelby plot, remember the real boys didn't always make it home alive.
There's no rest for me in this world. Perhaps in the next.
Fact 2.
It's Christmas. Someone new, Billy.
Tommy Shelby's constant smoking is iconic, but it took a real toll on Cillian Murphy. He once estimated that he smoked nearly 3,000 herbal cigarettes per season. These weren't real tobacco cigarettes, but herbal ones with no nicotine or toxins. Still, the sheer amount made his throat raw and his voice gravelly.
Want a drink, Lizzie?
Cillian said the chain smoking helped him get into Tommy's mindset. He'd hold the cigarette exactly the same way in every scene to keep Tommy consistent. Fans even noticed he flips the filter when he lights up, something he did on purpose. The props team made fresh herbal cigarettes daily to keep continuity perfect. Directors joked that the smoke clouds made it harder to film tight interiors. Cillian trained to inhale without getting sick, but still hated the taste. In interviews, he said quitting between seasons was his favourite part. The show's gritty aesthetic depended on that constant haze of smoke. Other actors also complained about coughing during long takes. Extras had to sign waivers agreeing to stand in smoky rooms for hours. Despite this, Cillian never took up real smoking. He calls it Tommy's burden, not his. He once said, "Tommy's lungs must be dust by now." Fans imitate the smoking pose but forget how exhausting it was on set. This tiny detail made the performance more believable. Murphy's dedication proves how far he went to disappear into character, and it shows that even the smallest habit can leave the biggest mark.
Saying what's the fight, Alfie?
Are you alright?
Fact 3.
Mr. Shelby will always be alone.
You forget, Inspector, I have my family.
The mastermind behind Peaky Blinders didn't invent the Shelbys from scratch. Stephen Knight grew up hearing wild stories about his Birmingham ancestors. His uncles and father spoke of gangs who ruled the streets in the early 20th century.
Mother and father who grew up in Birmingham, in Smallheath, in the 1930s. And they were kids, and they told me, my mum, when she was 9 years old.
They bragged about relatives who ran illegal betting shops and bribed local cops. Knight was fascinated by the idea of working-class men dressing sharply to stand out. He took the scraps of truth and built them into Tommy's criminal dynasty. In reality, his family weren't as organised as the Shelbys on screen, but they did run racetracks and small-time rackets in real life. Knight says he used Tommy to explore what might have happened if they'd aimed bigger. The razor blade detail was added for shock value, but based on urban myths. Some historians argue the blades were too expensive at the time to be true. Still, the image was too good to pass up. Knight also gave the Shelbys a political edge to deepen the drama. In real life, the gangs avoided politics, focusing on turf and money. Knight's personal connection gives the show a gritty authenticity. He said he wants the show to feel like a family legend told at the pub. The truth blurs with fiction, creating the Shelby myth. Fans love believing Tommy could have been real, just bigger than life. This family inspiration is why the show feels so rooted in Birmingham soil. It proves the best crime stories are always half true, half lies.
You ladies have a bet yourselves, but don't tell anyone else.
Fact 4.
Good. He's in the mood for a quarrel.
Peaky Blinders' gritty racetrack scenes feel authentic, partly because of the real horses used. Each horse had its own handler to keep them calm during chaotic shoots. Some of the racing scenes were filmed on cold mornings with dozens of extras shouting. This could easily spook a thoroughbred if not handled right. The production brought in specialist trainers who worked on historic films. Before each shoot, horses were walked through the sets to get used to lights and noise. Cillian Murphy even spent weeks learning how to mount, dismount, and handle a bridle properly. He insisted Tommy needed to look like he'd grown up around stables. The animals had their own warm blankets and heated tents for rest between takes. Insurance costs skyrocketed whenever horses were on set. One nervous stallion once bolted during a take, nearly injuring 2 crew members. After that, extra security cordons were set up to stop accidents. No horse was ever harmed, but the tension was real every time they yelled, "Action!" Some of the horses were worth tens of thousands of pounds, adding pressure to get scenes right. Feeding and cleaning up after them was a full-time job for handlers. If an actor slipped near a horse, shooting would pause instantly for safety checks. The racetrack mud was sometimes fake so the ground wouldn't be too slippery. Fans often forget how much animal work went into the Shelby Empire. Behind every betting scene was a team making sure the horses stayed stress-free. It's one of the show's most overlooked risks, and a reminder that working with animals makes gang drama look easy.
To Mr.
Thomas Shelby.
Fact 5.
The testimony of children.
Helen McCrory's role as Polly Gray is unforgettable, but she didn't just read her lines. She fought to make Polly more than a typical mob matriarch. McCrory asked for extra scenes showing Polly's street smarts and emotional scars. She pushed writers to show Polly handling money, guns and men without apology. In early drafts, Polly was more background than powerhouse. Helen refused to let that happen. She added small details like Polly lighting a cigarette mid-threat to show her steel. Crew members said she often reworked dialogue right before filming. Her input made Polly one of the show's deepest characters. When new actresses joined, Helen guided them through the show's tough tone. She wanted Polly's heartbreaks, like Michael's betrayal, to feel raw and real.
Look at the gun. Recognise it?
Fellows praised her for understanding both sides, mother and mobster. Fans now call Polly a feminist icon for good reason. Helen said she never saw Polly as a victim, even when broken. She believed Polly's strength came from decades of surviving men like Tommy. Off-set, Helen was known for keeping spirits high on brutal night shoots. When she passed away in 2021, the cast said the family spirit died too. The show paid tribute by folding her loss into the story respectfully. Helen McCrory's influence lives in every scene Polly commands. Her fight for respect behind the scenes mirrored Polly's own. Polly Gray will always be Helen's defiant legacy.
If I come for you, and I still might yet decide to come for you.
Fact 6.
Now, please, enjoy the city. It's my honour to represent.
Peaky is set in post-war Birmingham but shot elsewhere. Liverpool's old docks doubled as grim small heath. Modern Birmingham lost its old brick backstreets. Stanley Dock and Baltic Triangle were perfect stand-ins. Set designers added soot, posters and old cars. Locals acted as extras in markets and bar scenes. Some pub exteriors aren't in Birmingham at all. Visitors now flock to Liverpool for Peaky tours. Councils brag about the boost to tourism. Whole streets shut down for night shoots. Residents love the 1920s chaos on their doorsteps. Real Small Heath looks nothing like the show now. Actors joked about acting Brummie on Scouse streets. Fans snap selfies outside Garrison lookalikes in Liverpool. It's a masterclass in TV illusion. Knight says Liverpool gave Small Heath its soul. No skyline edits can fake that brickwork. Peaky's Birmingham lives on thanks to Merseyside.
We need our tunnel to run from here and hit the strong room direct.
Fact 7.
Get on with it and stop acting like a little girl. What do you want me to do it for you?
Alfie Solomon's chaos came straight from Hardy's mind. Writers gave him rough outlines only. Tom riffed lines, switching accents mid-speech. Co-stars broke character trying not to laugh. Directors let the cameras roll for gold. The bakery monologue was mostly ad-libbed. Hardy invented Alfie's eye squint for menace. Some takes were so wild they never aired. He stayed in character off-camera. Unnerving extras. Fans quote Alfie's wild rants word for word. Knight called Hardy's chaos perfect for Alfie's madness. Outtakes of his lines circulate among the crew. Hardy says Alfie is half stand-up, half mob boss. Improvisation made Alfie unpredictable and iconic. Some scenes feel like live theatre because of him. No one knew what would come out of his mouth. His improv blurred script and instinct beautifully. Hardy proved you can't cage a character like Alfie.
Fucking hell, look at that. Now that scares me more.
Fact 8.
Thomas Shelby who's crucified, and there will be no resurrection.
Peaky Mania revived Birmingham's dark history. Bars and tattoo parlours jumped on the Shelby trend. Fans flocked to Garrison Lane for selfies. Guided tours point out gang landmarks. Local museums display real police files. Old crime spots now earn big money. Merch shops sell flat caps and replica razors. Annual Peaky Fests bring crowds in costume. Some historians hate the glamorization of street thugs, but tourism boomed with every new season. Even graveyards with gang ties get visits. Locals profit from the legend that once terrified them. Stephen Knight says it's strange but poetic. The real gang never made this much money alive. Now Birmingham is gangster chic for tourists. Hotels see spikes in bookings every premiere. It's crime paying back the city at last. No one predicted a TV show would rewrite its image.
Do anything you want, because there are no rules.
Fact 9.
You bunch of fuckers, despite the provocation from the cavalry, no fighting.
One of the show's most famous details is the razor blade in the cap. That iconic blade in the cap, mostly legend. Blades were rare and pricey in the 1890s. Straight razors were bulky, not hidden in hats. Newspapers spread the myth to scare locals. Real gangs used knives, boots and belts instead. Police files never mentioned blades sewn in. Knight kept the story because it was striking. The name Peaky comes from the peaked cap's shape. The blade twist added menace for TV. Fans love the image, truth aside. Historians shrug. Myth always beats fact in pop culture. Now fans wear replica caps with fake blades. Tommy's legend needs the razor detail to feel deadly. It's the perfect TV flourish rooted in folklore. Real Peaky lads didn't sparkle like that. But one myth turned them into icons, and legends last longer than street thugs ever did.
Want to take you to the races?
Fact 10.
Who could ever kill Thomas Shelby is Thomas Shelby himself.
The last season faced delays no one expected. COVID shut down sets for over a year. Actors' schedules clashed, causing rewrites. Then Helen McCrory's passing stunned the crew. Scripts changed to honour Polly's legacy. Cillian Murphy called it the hardest shoot ever. Restrictions meant smaller sets, fewer extras. Actors filmed apart to stay safe. Some scenes used doubles for social distancing. Fans feared the final chapter might get scrapped. Producers pressed on to close the Shelby saga. Knight says the ending wasn't what they planned. But it became a tribute to Helen's impact. Her spirit haunts every final episode. The cast called it Polly's last blessing. Through tragedy, Peaky found a true final act. One last twist grounded in real heartbreak. Sometimes the darkest secrets come from real life.